The year is 1371. A child is born. A duke is christened. His name, John, his destiny, to rule. This moment marks the beginning of a life that will be etched into the annals of history. Welcome to Cryptic Mystic Vault, where we dive deep into the hidden history of human civilization. But this is no ordinary ruler, no mere figurehead. John is destined for greatness, a beacon of power in a tumultuous era. John, the second Duke of Burgundy, will become John the Fearless, a name whispered in awe and terror. His courage and ferocity on the battlefield will earn him a place among the legends of his time. Born into the exalted Valois dynasty, a family renowned for their influence and power, John inherited a lineage steeped in power and prestige. The blood of kings and conquerors flowed through his veins. His father, Philip the Bold, ruled the Duchy of Burgundy, a land of rolling vineyards and bustling cities strategically nestled between France and the Holy Roman Empire. Philip's reign was marked by prosperity and strategic alliances. This was no mere province. Burgundy was a realm of immense wealth and cultural significance. Burgundy was a kingdom in all but name. Its influence rivaled that of the greatest European powers. Young John grew up amidst the opulent trappings of courtly life, surrounded by the finest silks, the most exquisite art, and the constant whispers of political intrigue. The court was a place of learning and strategy, where alliances were forged and broken. He was groomed from birth to inherit his father's mantle, to rule with an iron fist, and to expand Burgundy's influence. His education was rigorous, preparing him for the complexities of leadership and warfare. Little did anyone know this child of privilege would grow into a man of ruthless ambition, a man who would shape the destiny of nations. His legacy would be one of both glory and infamy, forever altering the course of European history. France, in the late 14th century, was a kingdom fractured. The once mighty nation found itself locked in a brutal conflict with England, the 100 Years' War. It was a clash of dynasties, a struggle for supremacy, a conflict that would leave its mark on generations to come. The war had ravaged the French countryside, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. Villages lay in ruins, fields were barren. The people, burdened by taxes and weary from endless conflict, yearned for peace. Yet peace remained a distant dream. The French crown, weakened and indecisive, struggled to unite its nobles against the English threat. Internal divisions ran deep, and rival factions within the French court vied for power and influence. The most powerful of these factions were the Armagnacs and the Burgundians. The stage was set for a power struggle that would tear France apart. John's childhood was far from idyllic. Born into a world of constant conflict and political strife, he was thrust into the harsh realities of medieval life at a very young age. The 100 Years' War cast a long shadow over his formative years, shaping his worldview and tempering his mettle. The relentless battles and shifting allegiances were a constant reminder of the precariousness of power. He witnessed firsthand the brutality of war, the fragility of peace, and the fickle nature of alliances. These experiences left an indelible mark on his psyche, teaching him that survival often required both strength and cunning. At the tender age of 10, he was sent to live as a hostage in the English court, a common practice in medieval times to ensure compliance and good behavior. This separation from his family was a harsh introduction to the world of political maneuvering. This experience, though undoubtedly traumatic, proved invaluable. It was here that John began to understand the complexities of power and the importance of strategic thinking. John learned the art of diplomacy, the subtleties of courtly intrigue, and the importance of military strategy. He observed the intricate dance of alliances and betrayals that define medieval politics. He observed the English closely, learning their strengths and exploiting their weaknesses. This keen observation would later serve him well in his own political and military endeavors. John's education was not confined to the battlefield and the negotiation table. He immersed himself in the study of various subjects, broadening his knowledge and sharpening his intellect. He was a man of considerable intellect, fluent in several languages, and well-versed in the art of chivalry. His ability to communicate across cultures and his understanding of knightly virtues set him apart from many of his contemporaries. He was a patron of the arts, a lover of music, and a man of deep religious conviction. These interests provided a counterbalance to the harshness of his political and military life. These experiences forged within him a complex and often contradictory personality, a man capable of great cruelty and unexpected compassion. His life was a testament to the multifaceted nature of human character, shaped by the turbulent times in which he lived. In 1404, tragedy struck. John's father, Philip the Bold, died suddenly. At the age of 33, John inherited his father's duchy and his destiny. He was now the Duke of Burgundy, one of the most powerful men in Europe, and he would not be defined by his father's legacy. He would forge his own. John immediately set about consolidating his power and expanding Burgundy's influence. He was a shrewd politician and a ruthless pragmatist. He understood that to survive in the cutthroat world of late medieval politics, one had to be feared as much as respected. He ruthlessly crushed dissent within his own duchy, bringing rebellious nobles to heel. He forged alliances with powerful neighbours, playing rival factions against each other to his advantage. John was not content with simply maintaining the status quo. He envisioned a Burgundy that would rival France itself in power and prestige. He would stop at nothing to achieve his ambitions. The political landscape of 15th century Europe was a tangled web of alliances, rivalries, and betrayals. It was a time when power was constantly shifting and allegiances were as fragile as glass. Nobles and kings alike had to navigate this complex environment with both caution and cunning. John the Fearless navigated this treacherous terrain with the cunning of a fox and the ruthlessness of a wolf. His ability to read people and situations allowed him to stay one step ahead of his adversaries. He was a master strategist, always thinking several moves ahead. He understood that power lay not just in military might, but in the ability to forge alliances, exploit weaknesses, and manipulate events to his advantage. John knew that brute force alone would not secure his ambitions. He needed to be a puppet master, pulling the strings from behind the scenes. John skillfully played the English and the French against each other, extracting concessions and territories from both sides. His diplomatic maneuvers were as crucial as his military campaigns, allowing him to expand his influence without drawing his sword. He formed a strategic alliance with England, offering military support in their ongoing war against the French crown. This alliance was not just a simple agreement. It was a calculated move to weaken his enemies and strengthen his own position. This alliance, while advantageous in the short term, would ultimately prove to be a double-edged sword. The complexities of such a partnership brought both opportunities and challenges, forcing John to constantly reassess his strategies. Within France itself, the rivalry between the Burgundians and the Armagnacs intensified. This internal conflict was a powder keg, ready to explode at any moment, and John was right in the middle of it. The Armagnacs, led by the Duke of Orleans, represented the traditional power of the French crown. They were staunch defenders of the status quo, and their influence was a significant obstacle to John's ambitions. John saw them as obstacles to his own ambitions, rivals for power and influence. He knew that to achieve his goals, he would have to outmaneuver these formidable opponents. The conflict between these two factions would soon plunge France into a bloody civil war. This war would not only test John's strategic genius, but also shape the future of France for generations to come. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing discoveries and thrilling adventures into the past.